Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Byjus Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to the Hindu analysis for 13th May 2024. Let us look at the articles that we are going to cover today. The first one is a well-intentioned study and a demographic myth. The second one is clickbait paper. The third one is number of children has more to do with development than religion. Now, again, repeating the same thing that I've been saying. Yesterday also I said, because of the election news, the regular news is slightly lesser. And all these three articles that we have chosen today, they are related to one topic only, and they came in today's editorial page. So, all the three will help you in answering certain questions with regards to our demography, specifically with regards to the Muslim demography, and also what has happened in the population angle with regards to our country. So we shall see all these three topics. The fourth one, not a very important topic, but a small few nuggets will come out of this, and this is regarding internal security about our borders. So you can see government to spend 2 crore per kilometer on roads along China border. So that's one news. Apart from this, the Prelims Byjus has got the first news as panel flags poor progress in reversing coal mining damage in Meghalaya. The second one is cloud of discontent hangs over coal project in Birbhum. Now, both of them again related to environment and both of them related to mining sector. The second one is in the context of elections, but I have taken because there was one or two lines which were important, which we should remember. Finally, the third prelims bite is this worm develops food habits and its offspring inherit them. This is regarding science, and I'll only tell you one fact about this. Rest you can go through your article on your own. So without wasting the time, let's begin with the first article. As you can see here, page 6, a well-intentioned study and a demographic myth. It's written by Mr. Faizan Mustafa. He's a constitutional law expert. Now, let me take the pen. First of all, you all understand that last week there was a report that came. Most of you must be knowing. This report came from PM's Economic Advisory Council. What this report has talked about, we'll speak in a minute. But then, this report, what it has done is, it has revived the debate with regards to the population of Muslim community in our country. So there is a debate going on that how this growth has gone up or has gone down, all of that. Now some people are questioning the timing of the report, because you all know this report coming in the middle of the elections is something that people are questioning. And in this article, the writer, first of all, is pointing out to certain things. Now, I'll show you that. These are the issues that the writer has flagged as far as this article is concerned. Number one, I said, the timing. Number two, you all know the census did not take place in 2021. So, the writer points out, number two, that the data that is being used here is almost a 10-year-old, a decade-old data. Third, the writer is saying that everybody is flagging the rise in Muslim population. And if we go by the same logic, what about the population of the Buddhists? You know that there has been a 1520% increase as far as the Buddhist population. Number four, we all usually say that data a lot of time hides more and reveals less. So with that logic, the writer is saying that everybody is talking about the percentage. Nobody is pointing out that in the last 7 decades, that the numbers that have been taken, for every one Muslim, 5 Hindus have been born during this period. So basically the writer is trying to dispel this idea that the Muslims would overtake the Hindu population. Apart from this, another point that the writer is flagging here in this article is that the Hindu population has almost tripled from 320 million in 1950. Last but not the least, the writer says that the total fertility rate, you all know this is 2.1, it should be to be replaceable. What is TFR? TFR is basically the number of children that a woman is bound to bear during her lifetime. If it is 2.1, it's at a replaceable rate. If it is lesser than that, that means the population is going down. And if it's at a bigger, or it's more than 2.1, the population is still, growing, and it might depend on the numbers of that. So here, the writer lastly says that the TFR of the Muslim women have seen a drop of around 2.05 as against the drop of 1.36 as far as the Hindu women are concerned. So writer says these are the certain issues which have made this report slightly controversial. As you can see, this is the whole idea of this analysis. Writer says that this myth that has come that the Muslims would outgrow the Hindus as far as India is concerned is wrong. And here he says that Hindus have remained in majority for 800 years when the so-called Muslim rule was there in India. How can that, change now? That writer is saying that the Hindus would be in majority as far as India is concerned. The present data also says that 79.8% of India's population is Hindu population, whereas 14.23% is the Muslim population. So the idea that the author is saying here is that this so-called narrative that is being built that the Muslim population would exceed the Hindus is wrong. Now, in this one point came, which I thought for prelims we should remember, there is an author named Upendra Nath Mukherjee, and his book's name is A Dying Race. Around 115 years ago, that is around 1910, this book had been written. And then when the writer had written this book, he had said that the Hindu population in India is dwindling. That is, it's coming down. And the writer had then projected that, see, the Hindus' numbers would go down like indigenous population of New Zealand. So just like in New Zealand, the indigenous population had gone down, the writer 115 years had projected something like this. Though the author, Mr. Faizan Mustafa, clearly says that even Mr. Mukherjee had said that there was no decrease as far as the numbers of Hindus are concerned. That has not taken place. So he's saying, the author is saying that this whole myth being circulated that Hindus' population would go down is not a new myth. Some people have written about this as early as in the 1910, almost 115 years ago. Something like this has already been written. Now, basically, as you can see here, when this data came out from Economic Advisory Council, what it has shown is that in India, Muslims in particular and the minority in general, they are safe and they are not facing any prosecution. So this article says that in India, look at the number. The way the Muslim population has been increasing, from around 10% in 1950 to coming around 14% in 70 years, clearly demonstrates, according to this article, this is the conclusion that they have drawn. Not this article, but basically Economic Advisory Council's conclusion is that the Muslims particularly and minority in general, they have been, safe as far as India is concerned. They are not facing any sort of prosecution. So now the writer says that, is this the only yardstick to determine this. Writer says rather, higher fertility rates clearly are an indicator of more illiteracy. More the illiterate the population, more their fertility rate would be. Writer says it shows poor economic condition, and the third article that we will do just now is mainly talking about these things only. Now, to give the credit where the due is, the writer in the article somewhere here has also mentioned about last year's some statements that came from our Union Finance Minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman, where Madam had clearly said, the FM had said, sorry, it's not working, I'm sorry, just a second, it has hung. Just a second. I'm really sorry, this has hung. Just give me a second. Just a second. Just give me a second, I'll ask the technical team. Just a second. Okay, sorry for the delay and the disturbance, and I'm sorry the last annotations have gone, but then let me start from where the problem had begun. So in this article, they do mention about the statement of our finance minister. Last year, she had said that the Muslim population, as far as India is concerned, is the second largest Muslim population, and it is continuously only increasing. She had questioned if their lives were difficult. She said, how is it possible that this population would have grown? The writer, or this Mr. Faizan Mustafa, clearly says that there is some truth to this particular statement, that the population, of India has, as far as the Muslims are concerned, has been rising. And the writer says that by 2050, it would be the largest country, or it would be the country with the largest Muslim population. And there is absolutely no denial to the fact that the Muslims of India, they are doing much better than even the Muslims of Pakistan. So this much has been stated by the author till here. Now, author is using some population data. Now, I'll go to the third slide first of all. Here you can see some data has been taken. For example, Hindu fertility rate of Bihar is 2.88. For UP, the Hindu fertility rate is 2.29, much higher than the Muslim fertility rate of Kerala, that's 2.25, Tamil Nadu, that is 1.93, Andhra 1.97, Telangana 2.01. So you can see here some data has been presented, because already the writer has said that just the fertility rate is not the clear and the right yardstick to look into this. Writer is saying that we have already said if there is a high fertility rate, it clearly shows that there is less education. There must be higher economic backwardness, there might be higher social backwardness. All these things the writer is saying. And writer is also saying that compare every religion, Muslims have had the biggest fall as far as the fertility rate are concerned. Now, already we said that, almost a decade old data is being used in this study. 2021 census has not been done. So the author says compare 2001 and 2011. Muslim population had been growing at 36.02%. It has come down to 24.04. On the other hand, the Hindu population growth, which was 20.35%, has come down to 16.76%. Author is saying that the Muslim TFR is now 2.36, which is very close to 2.1. That's the replaceable rate. And again, the author says that here also from 3.59 in 1998-99, this number has come down to this around 2019 to 21. On the other hand, the Hindu TFR is 1.94. So Muslim TFR is 2.36. Hindu TFR is 1.94. And the demographers are very, very sure very soon the Muslim population would stabilize. The highest that the Muslim population would go in India would be around 18.8%. On the other hand, at that point, Hindus would be at 74.7%. So the authors are saying that, see, this is the thing. Apart from that, everyone, even United Nations Population Fund had observed, and this line you should remember, that there is a very good news that is coming from India, that 31 states as well as the UTs, they have achieved a TFR of 2.1 or lesser than that. And if there are certain states which have a higher TFR, for example, Bihar, you all know one of the reasons why Bihar has a very high TFR is mainly because of its high poverty. I've already said, you can see here, the Hindu fertility rate in certain states like Bihar and UP are much more than the Muslim fertility rates in the southern Indian states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Telangana. So what the author is trying to correlate here is that the fertility rates to some extent are related to the socio-economic conditions. If the people are more literate, if they are given much better economic conditions, invariably it would come down. Apart from this, let me write here only. I have taken one extra slide. Here they are pointing to two more things. One, the author is pointing to Assam. The author is saying that there is a lot of propaganda that goes on about Assam, that there is a lot of infiltration, a lot of illegal population. But then author says compare 2001 and 11 data. Assam's population has increased by 17.07. The whole country's population increased by 17.17. Similarly, in the 20 years after the creation of Bangladesh, that is from 1971, the 2.91% is the change as far as Muslim population is concerned. But then author says that Muslims increase is much more, almost around 10% in Nagaland, 3.79% in Punjab, 3.22% in Haryana, and around 3% is MP. So one point that author is debunking is with regards to illegal population of Assam. The last thing that the author has written in this lecture or in this article is, does India need to have some law with regards to population control? The author says, in 2021, in Rajya Sabha, a bill was brought, a private member bill was brought to regulate India's population. Later it was withdrawn. Our present day central government, Mr. Narendra Modi's government, had clearly said that such a thing, would not be correct. Coercive route would not be correct. Even, in 2000, then NDA government, which was led by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they had also favored that the more focus should be on socio-cultural factors. What are the socio-cultural factors? Increase in age, as far as the marriage is concerned. Get the ladies married at a higher age, even the boys. Similarly, girl education. Then after marriage, age when the births happen. Then maternal and child health. Consent, voluntary consent should be there. Informed consent should be there rather than coercive methods. And that's why, again, talking about our government, Mr. Modi's government, had in Supreme Court in December 2020 given an affidavit that, see, they are not planning to bring any such law because according to them, experience shows that any coercion is counterproductive when it comes to population or demographic distortion. So if you are doing coercion, it's not going to help your thing. So this was the first article, and more or less what we have to cover in the second and the third article was covered here only. Another editorial was today in the newspaper. As you all can see, there is clickbait paper linking demographic shifts directly to the state actions is problematic. Now you all can see this is the report that we were talking about. Working paper, share of religious minorities across country, analysis 1950 to 2015. It has been done by Shamika Ravi, an economist and a member of Economic Advisory Council of the Prime Minister. Again, we have said the timing and all has already been raised. Now, what has happened here is this paper draws on a data set, religious characteristics of states, where two US affiliated researchers have compiled an extensive data set of religious demographic changes in 167 countries. So there is some study done in US, and in this what they have done is they have defined majority and minority religions according to the official census data, and then they have quantified what has been the increment as far as the majority religion and minority religion is concerned. Nothing more than that. They have not discussed any factors what all have led to these changes. So this paper also does not talk about that. What they are saying, we have already said that the share of Hindus from 84.68 to 78% between this 65 years, whereas Muslim proportion has gone up from 9.84 to 14%. Now, According to this article, this is something that is known, that the Muslim percentage population has increased, and comparatively there has been a decline as far as the Hindu population percentage is concerned. Now in this article, one point that you can see here is they have written, in the immediate South Asian neighborhood, there is one country, Myanmar, where the majority Theravada Buddhists, they have seen a 10% decline. And they have said that rise in Muslim numbers proved media reports and UN human rights reports of discrimination and violence against Muslims in India were false. So basically this article, or this report by this council, says that, see, the numbers have been increasing as far as the Muslims are concerned. And this clearly shows that the reports which say that there has been discrimination against the Muslims, they are false. They single out that, look at Pakistan, look at Bangladesh. These are the countries where there have been demographic shocks. What is demographic shocks? That is, the minority, both these countries, Hindus were the minority, they have seen a big reduction as far as their population is concerned. So in this article, one extra point that they are mentioning is, if this is the case, what about the Parsi population? What about the Jain population, which has gone down in such big numbers? The writer here in the editorial is saying, if that is the case, the Parsi population, the Jain population which has been going down, has it gone down due to hostile state policy? Is this the reason? Guys, please understand. What they are writing to say, that if you are saying that population of one religion is going up, shows that the country is doing no discrimination against them. So similarly, if two religions, their populations are going down, does it mean that the country is doing racial discrimination with them? Of course, again I'll reiterate, data reveals less and hides more. In this article, the person who has written this editorial has very easily not pointed it out that compared to the Muslim population, which is in high, many crores, Parsis are maybe less than 1 lakh. So you cannot compare this. It's like comparing the apple to a mango. But then, for the comparison's sake, and absolutely you can take this, that the writer is taking this, and they are pointing out that if one thing you are using, the same yardstick, why are you not using for the Parsi and the Jain population? So this article says that this work of the council at best is incomplete at this point of time. Moving to the third article, which covers the same thing. You can see page 7. There's some articles, some data has been pointed out. There are 4 charts you all can see. I'll take a red pen here. You can see 1, 3, 2, 4. These are 4 articles again in the same backdrop. This article has been written, and you can see number of children has more to do with development than religion. So you can see here, we have already talked about this, that the TFR as far as the Muslims are concerned has gone to 2.36, which is very close now to 2.1, the replacement level. And they say that the how many children anyone would have is related to economic parameters. So again, the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, they came up with a report. Under the report, they say Muslim population has increased. Muslims in the total population have increased by 43.1 between 1950 to 2015, whereas there has been a decrease of 7.82 as far as the Hindus are concerned. So this is something that we all know. Now, let us look at these 4 charts. What is mentioned in these 4 charts, and that will clarify the things a lot for all of us. Number 1, we have already said TFR for Muslims is 3.6. when it comes to Muslim women in Bihar. Now, same Muslim woman, if she would have been staying in Maharashtra, her TFR is 2.0. If she would have been in Tamil Nadu, it would have been 1.9, 2.0 in Karnataka, 2.7 in Jharkhand, 2.4 in Rajasthan. Now you can see the variation as far as the TFR of the Muslim women from 1.9 to 3.6, 1.9 in Tamil Nadu to 3.6 in Bihar as far as the Muslim women. The only reason for this is the more they are socio-economically better, the lower their TFR would be. So this is the conclusion that they are drawing at the first instance. Now they have made 4 charts. The first chart, you all can see the numbers. You will not be able to remember all the numbers. So I'm only pointing out to the 4 conclusions that they have drawn here. They say there is a positive correlation. That means fertility rate would be higher if women are married early. Earlier the women are married, chances fertility rates are going to be much higher. This is under chart 1 that they have drawn. You can see here, I'll take a red pen. This is percentage share of women aged 20 to 24 who got married before becoming an adult, and you can see here how they have plotted this. So the total fertility rate is here. You can see this is around 1.5 and it goes till 2.5, and certain states, you can see Bihar, how the total fertility rate is very high as far as Bihar is concerned. Now you can do the analysis on your own, but let me draw the second and the third, fourth conclusion. The second, there is a negative correlation. That means fertility rate would be down if women are more literate. More the literacy as far as the women are concerned, chances their fertility rate would be lesser. Number third, guys, they say a lot of time there is a lack of awareness as far as family planning is concerned. And here they point out not only to the Muslims, they also point out to the Hindus. They say 25% of Hindu women basically in 2019-21 said that they had never heard anything about family planning via radio, TV, newspapers. And this number was much higher as far as the Muslims were concerned. So, the lack of knowledge. And here this article says even for those women who wanted to have space between 2 children, they could not have this space because of lack of access to family planning measures. Now you all can understand India was one of the first countries to have the family planning program. During the Nehruvian era only it was done, and yet there is such a big amount of population who have not or who are not aware about these things. Fourth, in the chart 4 they are mentioning about the share of unmet demand for family planning amongst the Hindu and Muslim women. Now what is unmet demand? They say share of women who want to limit or space out children. You know what I mentioned here, the excess thing. So here also they say that the unmet demand is higher amongst the Muslim women compared to Hindu. And specifically in states like Bihar, Haryana, Jharkhand, as far as the Muslims were concerned, in these states the unmet demand was much higher. So around half an hour on these 3 articles related to the same thing will give you a lot of points, lot of data with regards to this population statistics. More than enough for our exam. Let us move to the 4th part. You can see I have written the same thing. The data have been clearly kept separately, and you can see here the share and everything. Now, government to spend 2 crore per kilometer on roads along the China border. Now everyone, overall not that important topic, but then here there is a scheme mentioned, Vibrant Village Program, VVP. So here the government has announced that they are going to spend over 2 crore every kilometer to be constructed near the China border in Uttarakhand and Sikkim under the VVP program. So basically the Home Ministry, they have sanctioned 113 roads in mostly Arunachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Sikkim. And this, you all can understand, are in the neighborhood of China. So it will improve our connectivity in these areas. The government says that there are around 168 villages along the border with China that do not have any road connectivity till this day. And once these roads would be constructed, government has said that the state government would manage this. So you can see the government, the cabinet had approved this program around 2023 to cover this many villages in 46 border blocks of 19 districts in these 5 UTs and the states, Ladakh being UT and the 4 other states. Why are we doing this? Because China is expanding its chain of model villages. Please remember, they call this Ziakong, moderately prosperous villages close to the line of actual control. So everyone, in this you have to remember this term, and you all can understand that we are building roads here under the VPP. So just 2-3 lines about this Vibrant Village Program. Please remember, this is a centrally sponsored scheme. Remember, 5 states and the UT. There is only one UT, that is of Ladakh. The other 4 are Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Uttarakhand. So in all these 5 areas, this VVP program is being carried out. The whole idea, objective is that the people should have sufficient incentives to stay in these selected villages, so that, you know, their roads are being constructed so that they will be connected to the other areas, other facilities would be given to them. All these things are being done over here. So for example, if somebody is in Uttarakhand, districts like Chamoli, Uttarakashi, Rudraprayag. Similarly, if somebody is in Himachal Pradesh, Lahaul, Spiti, Kinnaur district, in all these areas, the focus would be on constructing these roads. Not a very important topic, but do remember about VVP. Now you can see another article. Again, on other days we might have missed it out, but not much articles today, so we can cover this. You can see this is an image of a rat hole mining. What exactly is rat hole mining? You must be knowing about what had happened recently in Uttarakhand and all. So that was much in news. Rat hole mining involves digging small tunnels large enough for a person to crawl through to extract coal. So you can see here, these tunnels have been constructed in these, I would say, hilly areas from where the coal is to be extracted. A lot of times you have seen this in news, rat hole mining, but then Meghalaya specifically in around 2018, in one of the incidents, around 15 miners, they had died when they were trying to illegally extract coal from these areas. So now in Meghalaya only, this news comes from Meghalaya. What has happened is there is a 1-membered panel that has been appointed by High Court of Meghalaya to handle all the coal related issues that has been flagged and they have flagged basically the lack of progress in restoring the environment damaged by rat hole coal mining. So these coal mining that is done, they harm the environment. You don't have to remember this name, but Justice Bijendra Prasad Katake, he is a retired judge. He has underlined that the non-utilization of Meghalaya's Environment Protection and Restoration Fund, and he is also highlighting that some more areas there is some new projects which have been sanctioned. Now you all can understand that these rat hole minings are done by people living in areas around the mines. Most of these mines have been abandoned, and these people, they suffer due to continued acid mine drainage from the mine pits that have not been closed yet. So basically the whole article, this whole thing is that the how to repair the environment which has got affected. For that 400 crore rupees was sanctioned by MEPRF, and 100 crores were sanctioned by Central Pollution Control Board. Now, you don't have to remember MEPRF, but then you can see here Meghalaya Environment Protection and Restoration Fund. That is the full name of this. Now, they are saying that this is not being done in the best possible manner. Again, just remember about rat hole mining. That's more than sufficient, and remember that there is a lot of such things which have happened in Meghalaya that has impacted your environment. Second last article for the day. There was an article today, cloud of discontent hangs over coal project in Birbhum. Birbhum, it's a district in West Bengal. And in this article, it is basically with regards to elections, and they are talking about, in the last line you can see, this Lok Sabha is witnessing an interesting contest and all that. What I have taken out from this article is that there is a coal mine project known as Dyocha Pachami Coal Mine Project. Now, this project is basically being pursued by West Bengal state government. They are planning to start mining at this coal block. Now, please see some numbers. This is considered to be the largest in the country, having reserves of almost 1198 million tons of coal, 1400 million cubic meters of basalt, and is spread over this much area, that is around 3400 hectares. So you all can understand, if mining has to be done in this area, there would be a lot of movement of people. There are around 12 villages in this project area having almost 21,000 people. They are mostly comprising of SC and ST community. Now, the thing is, people are not ready to give up their land. The local people, they are saying that under the Panchayat Act, there should be Gram Sabhas in the tribal dominated areas. And they say only the Gram Sabha has the power to decide whether the land would be given, land acquisition, the assent can be given only by the Gram Sabha. They are saying Lok Sabha Noi, Vidhan Sabha Noi, that is neither the Lok Sabha nor the Vidhan Sabha, Gram Sabha. Only Gram Sabha can give, assent to this. So they are saying under the Panchayat Act, there should be Gram Sabhas, and they alone have the right to give this, consent for land acquisition. Now, one problem that is happening here is, already there is news that some of the work has started. Now, what has started here? What do you say? Queries work. Stone crushers. They are working round the clock in this area, and already the people have started to suffer from cases of silicosis. So this is one environmental hazard that has come from this area. So just keep in mind that this coal mine project is there in Birbhum district in Bengal, one of the largest, and do remember about the provisions of the Panchayat Act. Last topic for the day, just for prelims. It's a very lengthy article. Read it on your own because mostly it is talking about the same, DNAs and RNAs about which we have covered many a times. For our prelims, why I have taken this is that the researchers fondly call roundworm Cynorhabditis elegans. It's a worm that they call the worm. By using they are showing eminence to it because they are saying it's widespread use in research to understand neuronal and molecular biology. Now everyone, why I have taken this is because of this line. It was the first multicellular organism to have its full genome sequenced and neural wiring mapped. So please remember, if tomorrow in prelims this comes, this is the first multicellular organism which has its full genome sequencing done, full neural wiring mapped. And these C. elegans, they grow within 3 to 5 days to form a fertilized egg to a millimeter long adult, and it has informed profound insights into the human body as well as biology more broadly. So what is happening in this multicellular organism has very big insight or profound insights with regards to human body as well as biology. So I have left this article. I have only concentrated on the first paragraph here. Rest again I am repeating mainly about DNA and RNA. If you want, you can go through the gist once, but don't go beyond this. Very, very lengthy, and you would have covered it many, many times. Last two mains questions. Coal mining, in spite of the adverse environmental impact, is still inevitable for development of the country. Discuss. And number 2, analyze the demographic dividend in India. Now, this is a 20 marker, 250 words, a lot of things. Hopefully, you would have studied on this topic many times. And with that, we are done for the day, and we shall again meet at the same time, same place tomorrow. Do like our gestures and do appreciate by telling us if you liked it in your comment section. Anything else that you want us to do, please tell us. And that's all from our side for the day. Rest again tomorrow, 10 a.m. Goodbye. Thank you.